We've made it to Oscars weekend, at least nominations weekend. So, just we're down to the last 2 days here before nominations come out on first thing Monday morning, and I have everything all sorted out. I've made I think just one last minute change in one category now, and then there was another one I made earlier this afternoon. But again, we'll get to those categories when we get to them. We're going to start here with and work our way up. So we'll start with the short categories and go our way up. And again, I have them alphabetical here. My version of alphabetical, it's not the exact same that the Oscars have. For example, we'll say for a screenplay or something, The Father, I think, is very likely to get nominated. I have that last alphabetically, but they would probably put The Father first because they skip the, and then F, Father, they put that in front of everything else. So, so just know that when they announce them at the Oscars there, mine will be, a little bit different here from the version you hear. Okay, so let's start with these, and again, I'll list the 5 I have getting nominated, or up to 10 in the case of Best Picture, and then after that, we will go ahead and kind of go through the list of also in the runnings there. All right, so I just need to get my list back up here. Here we go. Starting with live action short, the 5 I have are Feeling Through, The Human Voice, Kick Sled Choir, The Letter Room, and The Present. With this one, generally I feel like these are not all the safe 5, and again with these short categories I say go with the ones that sound good or something. The Present, oh, that sounds delightful, we'll put that down. Stuff like that. Sometimes that's the best way to go about these. But kind of interesting, The Human Voice is one I have in there. It's actually by Pedro Almodovar, who just did Pain and Glory last year, and I thought at the last minute he was going to be a threat to get nominated for director, but he didn't. Interesting too. I looked up that one. Tilda Swinton is in it. You've got The Letter Room, which has I'm looking right at him now, but I can't think of his name. I forgot Oscar Isaac. I couldn't think of it last time either. But kind of interesting because a couple of years ago there was one with Martin Freeman and somebody else. Was it Olivia or no, not Olivia Colman? Emily. Oh, geez, I can't. Breaking the Waves. Emily Watson, I thought. Those two or something like that. And that one won a few years ago there. So, sometimes these short films do have stars in them. So I have 2 of those getting in. But anyways, Two Distant Strangers is a pretty popular pick for some people. White Eye is another one. And then B2 is also another one that some people have picked here. But I'm going with these 5. All right, moving on to documentary short. The 5 I have are A Love Song for Latasha, Abortion Helpline, This Is Lisa, Colette, Hunger Ward, and Hysterical Girl. And I think really these seem like a pretty safe, except for Hysterical Girl is in last place, by the way, on Gold Derby here. But a lot of people are going with the Speed Cubers, which I really considered here. It was my 6th one here, but I'm like, I don't know. The other titles kind of sounded a little more thing there. And then also What Would Sophia Loren Do, which I believe aired on Netflix. That one I think could somehow get in there, but we'll have to see there. For the animated short category, I am kind of bucking the trend here a little bit, and I have actually quite a few that are the likelier picks for some people. I have those missing. So I have my 5 are, if I can pronounce the first one, Kapamahu or Kapmahu, something close to there. If Anything Happens, I Love You, opera to Gerard and Traces. So again, If Anything Happens to You, Happens, I Love You, that one is also on Netflix and was actually a really popular streaming one there quite a few months ago. So I think that one, I believe, again, has to do something with the school shooting, because my sister actually had it on, she was showing my mom it, and she was like, oh, it's so emotional, I was just crying for hours after it was over and stuff, and I just kind of caught the tail, I'm like, oh, well, that's depressing, it's like, okay. But it looked like it was, very beautifully done, though, animation-wise and stuff. Out and Burrow, I believe, one of those, or both of them, I think one of them is a Pixar one, I haven't done all my homework on these, obviously, but I know that's one that, one of them at least, is like a Pixar one, or it's that one Out looks like it has to do with an animal, and usually those are ones that get in, but I don't know, I'll just buck the trend there. The Snail and the Whale is another one that kind of, is animal-based, but I'm going to skip that one, and then Genus Loci, or Genus Loki, whatever that one is. That one, I think it's kind of an outside pick for some people. It's like 7th place or 8th place here on Gold Derby, but yeah, I don't know. This one, yeah, it's like these short categories are always hit and miss. It's like sometimes you'll go with like the top 5 and you'll get like 2 of them right in each category, and then other times you'll go with like, split ones, and then you'll get like 4 of them. And then sometimes you go with ones that are all over the place, and you'll get like 2 still. So it's always a crapshoot with those. And that's, again, I've heard from a lot of people, whether you see them or not, it's usually the way it goes. All right, then for the visual effects category next, my 5 are Mank, The Midnight Sky, Mulan, Tenet, and Welcome to Chechnya. I switched to Welcome to Chechnya because that one, I think it's going to line up for documentary as well. And these are actually the top 5 on Gold Derby here. I did skip the one and only Ivan is the one that I had in there earlier, and I dropped it out. But that one, I think, is actually going to be really close. It did get in at BAFTA here on Tuesday, so definitely some people like it a lot. Soul, I mean, it would be that rare. We've talked about it a few times, but Kubo and the Two Strings is about the only other animated film that I'm remembering, at least off the top of my head, that was also up for visual effects. But I don't know. I think they like Soul, but I don't know if they like it that much. I don't really, see. I don't even know why it's even in this fucking category. Regardless, I'd say something like Greyhound or Invisible Man, I think, was much more likely here. Otherwise, Birds of Prey is possible. It came out early, but it's like, definitely, right before, like a month before pandemic shit started happening. So I think that one could get some bids still for that one there. Moving on. Sorry, I keep flipping. Okay, this one I'm going to get out of the way here because I've got a list too of how many films have multiple nominations and stuff and who's expected to be the most nominated and all that. Yeah, we'll get to that here later. Best Sound is next. Here I do have Greyhound, Mank, Soul, Sound of Metal, and Tenet. So I took out News of the World here. Originally I had Ma Rainey's, then I put in News of the World, and then I'm like, well, I switched a couple things, so I'm like, I don't know. And then Soul got in for Sound here at BAFTA. I'm like, it's a music film. Sure, Sound of Metal also has partially to do with music, but I'm like, I don't know. Usually these music ones, they're closer there. And really between that and Ma Rainey's, I kind of thought about it again. I'm like, well, Soul, in some regards, actually, this could be the only category it loses. Should pull up the wrong list again. It's like, score and animated feature, it's probably way ahead to win both of those. So, really Soul, even though Ma Rainey, I think, is almost a slam dunk to win 2 categories as well, makeup and actor, at least those 2. And then costume design, I think, I have it in front right now. I think it could carry through very easily, But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I just think there might be actually a little bit more love, though, behind Soul at the nomination stage, even though I have it getting fewer categories than Ma Rainey's. But yeah, I think Soul is one that'll get in there. Look out for both of those, News of the World and Ma Rainey's, to strike here, or even Nomadland, which got in at BAFTA here on Tuesday as well. And then Chicago 7 is one that could get in. Midnight Sky is a possibility. And again, if they really, really like it, Defy Bloods, in case that one just strikes all over the place and we had no idea it was coming. All right. I keep goddamn opening that one file. I'll figure this out here. Okay, let's go to makeup and hairstyling next. Makeup and hairstyling. Here, my 5 are Hillbilly Elegy, as we mentioned here a few seconds ago, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, Pinocchio, and The Glorias. Again, I'm going with the one that nobody else likes, or not likes, but the one that's very unlikely, so that's The Glorias. Actually, shit, I got it at 100 to 1 odds, now it's 66 to 1, so a few other people are bandwagoning on that one the last minute, but yeah, again, it's just like those Border and The Man Who Shat on the Park Bench and Flew Away, or whatever the title. I always give a different title for that one every year when we cite it. But yeah, again, Birds of Prey I had in here originally. Emma I was close on as well, but yeah, unless they go with that Jingle Jangle one. That one got on the short list for a few categories, so that one might be the one instead of The Glorias, but I'm not quite gonna pick it here. All right, we'll move on to the song category here, the 2 music categories next, starting with song. And my 5 are, and this is alphabetical by film, not by song, Turntables from All In, The Fight for Democracy, Fight for You from Judas and the Black Messiah, Scene, also known as like IOC, Low C, whatever, but I'll just call it Scene from The Life Ahead, Rain Song from Minari, and Speak Now from One Night in Miami. Generally, there's a few other ones that some people are definitely going to consider. Hear My Voice from Chicago 7 could easily be a nominee here. And then the Husavik song from the Eurovision, which is the Will Ferrell one. It's possible. It's possible. I actually need to look that up. See, would he actually be nominated with that? Because I remember, I think we talked about it quite a few videos ago now. But I remember Vice. He was actually a producer on, but he was not included on the list there when that got nominated. So this would be, I believe, a first-time nominee here. And then the Wuhan Flu song. I actually think if Borat, other than maybe screenplay, if it's going to get in anywhere else, it would be here for song. But I don't quite think so. And then kind of a last-minute one some people are talking about here is actually. Never Break from Giving Voice, which I don't know much about that one, but I've seen a few people are predicting that one there. All right, that stupid list is still there. I can't get rid of it, other than like Xing out of it, but then I'll forget about it. Okay, then original score next: Mank, The Midnight Sky, Minari, News of the World, and Soul. I have getting in here. For me, I feel like these are safe. Ludwig Göransson has gotten in a few places for his score for Tenet. Again, never totally discount Thomas Newman. He's got the little things. Da 5 Bloods, Terrence Blanchard is possible there. Yeah, I'd say otherwise, really Chicago 7 is like the only other one I think that has a small chance of getting in here, but they didn't even nominate him at the Globes, the Daniel Pemberton there, who's been nominated like 3 times there or something. But if they in a film they clearly like because they gave it 5 nominations, the fact that score was not one of them does not bode well, though. All right, production design is next. Here I have Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, The Midnight Sky, Mulan, and News of the World. So Tenet has gotten a few nominations here for production design. I believe it's in at Production Designers Guild for Contemporary. But the fact that Tenet did not do so hot at BAFTA, even though it was kind of long-listed in several categories, including director, that really gave me pause. And I thought about it too. I'm like, well, think about it. Christopher Nolan's movies, other than... I'm trying to think here how to phrase this, but like Interstellar, it wasn't as high like a Best Picture contender, so it only got the tech categories, and even then it was like just a few, but it missed out on major ones like cinematography in the tech categories. Then you have stuff like Dunkirk, though, which was a more expected Best Picture nominee. That got a whole bunch of nominations. Inception, same deal. Dark Knight, same deal. So it's like Tenet, it's obviously not anywhere near Best Picture or Director right now. Probably not Screenplay either. So, I really don't sense it being a huge, huge threat here in a lot of these tech categories. I just really have it the two that we've already mentioned here, sound and visual effects. Emma was one I had in here for a while. So I think it's close, but the fact it got shafted by the Production Designers Guild, yeah, that gave me pause as well. And I forgot to mention on One and Only Ivan, that one also didn't get anything from the Visual Effects Guild except for like a very low, like one nomination that wasn't like overall effects category or whatever. Otherwise, look out for The Father here as well. I believe that was a nominee at BAFTA, so that's one I would be wary of here. Okay, going to costume design. Emma, I have getting in here. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, Mulan, and United States versus Billie Holiday. And I was really tempted to take out Billie Holiday, but I was like, I couldn't really settle on which one to go with here if I'm going to take it out. Because News of the World, I mean, some of the Westerns are actually, it's more common for them to get in, like with stuff like The Revenant and True Grit and all that. But I'm like, well, both of those were like way up there for their number of nominations and stuff. News of the World, I think, is going to be, it's pretty much going to be restricted to tech categories and then screenplay, possibly picture or supporting actress. But I don't think it's going to be an across-the-board nominee like those two films were. Ammonite did get a costume design nomination at BAFTA. That's been about the only place it's gotten anything all season. I really don't see them going with it now. Some people do think A Personal History of David Copperfield could get in here, and I that's one I was kind of I don't know. I would probably put it beneath News of the World, probably for more for most likely to least likely, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on that. And then one I was like, you know what, it might just get in. is Promising Young Woman, but again, I just didn't have the balls to put it in. So if that one does make it, I'm going to be like, oh man, I had a slight feeling about it, but yeah, not enough to say it's going to happen. Film editing next. Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Sound of Metal, and Trial of the Chicago 7. Yeah, I couldn't put Promising Young Woman in here either, or The Father. So yeah, it's like I couldn't really name. Again, we were talking about this in the past video there. I just couldn't drop any of these. Nomadland. It's like it could be like Roma 1917 or a few of those other ones where it's kind of the expected Best Picture winner, but then it doesn't get nominated here. But I don't know. I think they're going to nominate it still. It's gotten in everywhere it can for editing. It hasn't missed anywhere. 1917, I believe, missed a couple places for editing last year before we knew it wasn't, or I started predicting it wasn't going to get in. But then it won Critics' Choice, and a lot of people were like, oh, it's going to get in. But no, wait, did we have nominations by then? Maybe we did have nominations by then. I can't remember. But yeah, I remember I wasn't predicting it, and a lot of people, not a lot of people, but several people were, and it was like, oh, no, that was an easy miss. But I won't brag too much about it, obviously. But anyways. Otherwise, News of the World, again, I think if it was, that's one that's, it's close. The Five Bloods, possibly. Ma Rainey's, maybe, but I don't know. I don't really see it as a huge threat here. Otherwise, Tenet is one I think some people are naming here as well. And then if it really goes over well, Judas and the Black Messiah I'm kind of seeing as a more kind of dark horse pick here. But yeah, again, I have it doing okay here. I don't have it getting into that one. Cinematography here. I'm going with Mank, Minari, News of the World, Nomadland, and Trial of the Chicago 7. So I did make a last-minute switch there. Tenet I have out now. And I looked over it, I'm like, you know what? It would be kind of weird to see Chicago 7 just get editing, but I'm like, I don't know, cinematography, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go with that one. Again, probably just because I know that they don't have the name on the ballot there. Otherwise, I would say, yeah, Sean Bobbitt should absolutely, not absolutely, because I haven't seen the film, but Judas and the Black Messiah, I think, yeah, would be a bigger threat here. Otherwise, Cherry, we got that kind of surprise Cinematographers Guild nomination. The Five Bloods, the same cinematographers on that. So if they're watching The Five Bloods but not Cherry, if they still want to nominate him, Siegel, the cinematographer, then they can go with him there. Otherwise, unless they go with something a little more left field, like Greyhound or Malcolm and Marie or Ma Rainey's or even One Night in Miami, yeah, I don't really see any of them as a big, large threat here. Okay, now we're going to switch gears because the Gold Derby page put these way in a different spot. We'll go with the documentary feature category next year. I have Collective, Crip Camp, Time, The Truffle Hunters, and Welcome to Chechnya getting nominated here. And let me see here. I think generally speaking, this is kind of a little bit split here for what the popular picks are. Let me see. I think Dick Johnson is Dead is still pretty high up there right now. They have it in fourth. Boys State is one that's gotten a few notices here and there. All In, Fight for Democracy I have getting into song, but not this one. MLK FBI I think was out early, front runner status, but then since then I think some people have dropped it off. And then My Octopus Teacher is a possible one here. The Mole Agent I would also say might have a slight chance getting in here. Going over to international film, my five here are Another Round, Collective, Dear Comrades, Covadi, I think it is Ada. I've been saying Adia, but it's AIDA, not ADIA. I've been misreading that all season, so thanks for pointing that out. Covadi, Ada, and Two of Us being the five here. So generally speaking, I think La Lorna is the only other one that people have in here. If they're not going with something like Night of the Kings or Mole Agent or something like that, which is also on the short list here. I'm No Longer Here is one. Was that in at BAFTA? No, I don't think so. No, we kind of looked at that. But yeah, Night of the Kings is one I was considering early. I think I had that in my predictions for Globes, but that didn't happen. And then since then, I don't think it's been talked about as much. So, yep, that's that one. And then we'll go over to animated feature. And my five here, I am going to take a little risk here with this one. Over the Moon. Shaun the Sheep Movie Farmageddon, Soul, The Willoughbys, and Wolfwalkers. So yeah, I do not have Onward getting in there, even though it got in at BAFTA. It's really not missed anywhere. But again, I don't know. I think the branch is going to be a little pickier here. I think they're only going to go with one Pixar movie. Again, I did look at the list. Yes, we've never had two Pixar movies nominated the same year. The closest, obviously, would be Inside Out and The Good Dinosaur, which I think were both nominated at the Globes that year. But just Inside Out, which went on to win the category, of course, just that got in at the Oscars. Earwig and the Witch, it is one of those Miyazaki or Studio Ghibli films, but unfortunately the reviews are really, mixed is kind of maybe a more favorable, a little more overdoing it word, but some people definitely did not like it. And then Croods and New Age has been getting in pretty well across most of the places here. It got into like PGA and stuff for animated. And keep in mind, it is, other than like, I'm trying to think, other than maybe Tenet, I think in the pandemic era, it is the highest grossing film that's been released here in the U.S. I'm going to check that really quickly. Because Tenet has 57 million here in the U.S. and this one, I think after the weekend, it might be up to like 55 million or something. So it's pretty close. So if the branch recognizes that as any, which I don't think is a huge deal breaker by any means, but it's like if they want to recognize it and say, hey, theater's good for staying open and stuff, that could be a way to reward it. Plus, like I said, it has gotten a few nominations here and there, like Globes and PGA and stuff. So it wouldn't totally be left field, even though I believe actually the first Croods got in, didn't it? I'm gonna double check that because it sounds right, but you never know. Okay, it was a nominee, yeah. So it's like really, other than like Toy Story and the How to Train Your Dragon films, it's like really they don't go with sequels here very often. Not that I can remember here. Okay, let's skip over now to the screenplay categories, and I still put up that fucking wrong list. Okay, too many buttons here. So adapted screenplay first. I have Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, News of the World, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, and The Father getting in. And I feel like these are the safe five. Some people in the last minute here are putting in Borat, which I think is possible. It is possible. Remember, that first film did get in. The White Tiger and The Mauritanian were both screenplay nominees in this category at BAFTA. And that was just in a field of five, so they did not have... I believe they skipped over... I can't remember now. I know they skipped over News of the World, but Nomadland was in there, and then I'm pretty sure The Father was, and I think One Night in Miami was too. That was the 74th British. Yeah, I can't remember what they excluded there for adapted. Yeah, One Night in Miami even missed there. So it was just really The Father, Nomadland were the only two. So, I don't know, though. I don't think Mauritanian, it's like, we'll talk about supporting actress here in just maybe a minute or two, but, that's that one. Going over to the original screenplay race, which is arguably a little bit more competitive here. Here I think we can name quite a few other possible contenders. Here are my five, in alphabetical order, are Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, Minari, Promising Young Woman, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. And I think Sound of Metal, some people have that getting in over Mank. Some of them have it getting in over Judas and the Black Messiah. It's pretty close there. Soul has not landed any screenplay nominations yet, I think. Not that I'm aware of. But I'm going to double... I didn't think about this. Inside Out. I don't think Inside Out got a ton of screenplay picks either, though. Except maybe Critics' Choice, now that I think about it. Let me see. Let's see, Oscars. Oh, it got in at BAFTA that year for screenplay. Critics' Choice. Okay, yeah, it did get a few things here. But Soul, I don't believe has gotten, at least in a major contender here, I don't think it's gotten any screenplay nominations. I'm going to see if anything else comes up here. No, Satellite Awards is probably and then a couple Critics' Prizes it was nominated or runner-up or whatever, so... Yeah, it hasn't gotten any industry support for the screenplay. Da 5 Bloods, in case it does across the board do pretty well. Another Round got in at BAFTA, so that's one I wouldn't totally say is impossible. And then that Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always we talked about. There was that article that came out about the one Oscar voter who contacted the director and all that stuff. I don't know. It was in the voting period when it came out, I believe, that article, but. I don't know, it ate up a very small news cycle and everybody moved on. So I had that in for a minute, like a hot shit minute, and then I took it out. So Yeah, I went with Judas since that one has a lot more steam right now than some of the other competitors there. Okay, going over to the acting races now. We're starting with supporting actress here. Maria Bakalova for the Borat subsequent movie film, Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elegy, Olivia Colman for The Father, Amanda Seyfried for Mank, and Yoo Jun-yun for Minari. And again, I've probably been mispronouncing her name the whole time. It's like I hear her name pronounced 3 or 4 different ways, so I just say what comes to, looks phonetically correct, but you never know. So yeah, I'm not going Jodie, I'm not going Helena, I'm not going Dominic, I'm not going Ellen Burstyn here. Yeah, I kind of, like we were talking about yesterday, I was thinking about it, I'm like, I think Mank is a higher priority for probably some of these voters here than like Mortanian is, or than even for some of them, obviously Pieces of a Woman. But it's like, yeah, that would be a great sign of strength, though, if Ellen Burstyn does get in. Because then, we could see, like, if out of nowhere Vanessa Kirby wins BAFTA at the last minute, if we have kind of a split race like we're kind of looking at right now, that could really help her. And I'd be goddamned if she won. But I would, obviously, she would get my vote. But yeah, I don't know. We won't go there quite yet. I still think it's probably Carey Mulligan's to lose right now. But again, we'll see where SAG goes. If SAG solidifies with her, it could be tough. It could be tough to beat her then. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, otherwise, I don't really think way too many people have. It's really down to those 4 if it's not one of these 5 that I'm going with. Okay, moving over to supporting actor. Again, pretty fluid race here after you get arguably past, the first 3 for sure. But and they are actually the first 3, not in my order of who I would think would win, but alphabetically they're in order here, the 3 that I think are most likely. So Sacha Baron Cohen for The Trial of Chicago 7, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah, Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami, Paul Raci for Sound of Metal, and David Strathairn for Nomadland. I'm sticking with him. I'm going to stick with David here. Again, I think because Nomadland, it's like after the Globe and Critics' Choice wins, it's like, again, I see it like being like 1917, where it's kind of higher on the list there for the priority for some of these voters last minute. So, I think if enough of them, go with it, I think he'll get in. But again, watch out for Chadwick Boseman here to pull the double nomination. Alan Kim got the surprise nomination at BAFTA, among many other surprise nominations, and just won at Critics' Choice for the Younger Actor Prize. Still be careful of Jared Leto. He's another past winner. So another past nominee would be Bill Murray. Another one would be Frank Langella. So a couple there. Mark Rylance, just in case you throw him in as a possible one there. So, yeah, that fills out another category all by itself, doesn't it? And that's another 5. Okay, like I said, Best Actress, I'm not making any changes here. Everything of, all the warning signs, all that, be damned. I'm not making any changes here. Viola Davis, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Andra Day for United States versus Billie Holiday, Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand for Nomadland, and Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. I think that's the way it's going to go. Yeah, and I look at it here again, I'm like, well, Sophia Loren, could be, since I took her out, I'm like, I still think, because almost every year we do get that one nominee. Let me see if, really quick, I'll just go through them here, just the last few years, and we'll kind of talk about, because I think I have them memorized for who gets in, who's missed everywhere. We almost always every year have one of those. Last year, we really didn't. Kathy Bates missed a few, but she got into the Globes, amongst a few other things, so that one doesn't count. Everybody from Best Actress had been nominated, I believe, at SAG, so that was like the same 5 at SAG, and I think they were all in the drama race at the Globes, too. Best Actress. So last year was an exception, but the year before that, I know we had, like, Marina de Tavira was one who showed up nowhere, but then got in. Let's see here. Yalitza, well, she got, Critics' Choice, so she doesn't count either. Let's see. Otherwise, let me see here. Yeah, 2017, most of them had shown up, and at least 1 or 2. Actually, 2, I think, for all of them, maybe. Let's see, 2016, I believe, again, was pretty much the formula there. I'm looking for another example here, but I thought we had more of these more recently. Tom Hardy missed quite a few for getting in for The Revenant, but again, I think he was at least at Critics' Choice. Charlotte Rampling, I know, missed a few for 45 Years, but she got a couple things. Let's see, 2014. That's where I know we had at least one. I know Laura Dern missed everything that year, but still got in for Wild. Let's see here. Wasn't there another one that year? No, the supporting actor is pretty much those five across almost all the shows leading up to it. Oh, Bradley Cooper missed everywhere and got in at the end. That's right. Yeah, Bradley Cooper. And then you've got, I believe that was the same year as Marion Cotillard. Yeah, 2 Days, One Night. So that one we had three. So, and then I believe, 2013 was the Jonah Hill year for Wolf of Wall Street. He missed everywhere, except it maybe Critics' Choice. Now that I think about it, but no, I think he missed everything. That's right. Yeah. Otherwise, let's go to 2012 just for shits and giggles. See if there was any there that I can remember. Yeah, the further back we go, it's like, okay, maybe that one, but no, I think everybody that Naomi Watts I know got a few bids that year. Jackie Weaver might have been one that missed everything for Silver Linings Playbook, and then she just got in all of a sudden. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. She did miss everything. Yeah. She was nominated at SAG for Ensemble, and then also for the Ensemble for they had a critics the Critics' Choice Prize there. So Straight Turn is my one this year if they go with somebody who hasn't been nominated anywhere before. Okay, going on to Best Actor here. My 5 are Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Gary Oldman for Mank, and Steven Yeun for Minari. These feel like the safe 5 unless you're going Delroy Lindo, which, in a perfect world, I would see him get in over. Well, shit, I don't know who to drop. I know, maybe. I don't know. I don't want it to go to 6 because I think that kind of delegates or what's the word I'm looking for? But it hurts the category. I think it's more not say elitist, but it's definitely more panache to it when you just have 5. With 6, it feels like, oh well, we had it 5 for so long, but we just feel guilty, so here's 6. It's like, no, I don't think they should do it like BAFTA did. Fuck them. Look out for Kingsley Benadir for One Night in Miami in case that one comes through last minute. Mads Mikkelsen just got the BAFTA nomination for another round. So on the off chance that one does get in for director too, yeah, he might go along for the ride. And then Tahar Rahim for The Martini in case that one actually does have some traction here. But again, I just don't know. Maybe Steven Yeun would be the vulnerable one, but I don't know. I feel like Minari, it's like... it still did pretty well BAFTA there, so kind of last minute, and those voters do go over. And Minari's in for DGA and PGA, so it definitely has some industry support here, kind of in the 10th or 11th hour before nominations come out. Anyways, let's talk about this director race. Okay, my 5. I remember last year, because I rewatched the video here not way too long ago, just because I was like, okay, let me just see where we were last year at this time or whatever, and it was like... I was a big lead up because I talked about like the 4 I have getting in, and then I went on this huge like 20-minute segment or something because it was such a oh wow, who gets that 5th slot, and it's very much that again this year. But let's just go ahead and list them here. So we have Lee Isaac Chung for Minari, Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman, David Fincher for Mank, Florian Zeller for The Father, and Chloe Zhao Chow for Nomadland. I've heard her name pronounced 4 different ways in the last few weeks here, but yes, I am going Florian Zeller. Again, I grabbed him at 90-1 odds on Gold Derby. He's now up to 68-1 odds, so a lot more people in the last minute here are picking him up. You're robbing, you're cheating off of me. No, of course, no. I think if he was still in that 100-1 thing, I maybe would have skipped over him. I had Thomas in there, Thomas Vinterberg, and he was 100-1, but still, no. And I don't always go for these super, super long shots all the time, but still. I think definitely Aaron Sorkin after missing BAFTA, that's kind of been the first for him. I mean, otherwise he's gotten in everywhere. Chicago 7, again, I think it's losing a little bit of steam here going into the last stretch here. So it's going to be a weird one here since I put it in for cinematography, because most of the time cinematography, editing, directing, almost always they don't always cross over here. I'm just really quick, let me pull up actually one more time here last year. Because I know for cinematography, was it actually the same 5 for director? Oh shit! Just to make my point here. No, not quite. 1917, which was up for not editing, but also up for director. Irishman, which was up for all 3. Joker, which was up for all 3. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was up for all three, but then you had The Lighthouse. So that made, let's see here, Parasite. Oh, yeah, and then, yeah, Parasite would be the one that didn't get into cinematography, but was up for directing and editing. Jojo Rabbit was up for editing, but not cinematography or director. And then Ford v. Ferrari was up for editing, which missed out on both of those. So, yeah, really quick, what was the ones this year that I have? I have Minari, Mank, and Nomadland getting into cinematography. And I believe, yep, all three would also be in for editing. So that's pretty close. I mean, we got, I think it was it 3 last year or just 2? Now that I look at it again here, let me look again. Joker, Parasite. No, between all the 3 categories, it was just Joker and Irishman, actually. So yeah, just 2. Yeah, so that's actually, yeah, that might actually be a closer connection than I was thinking there. But yeah, it's like it's kind of weird to not have him in there. But again, I think there is going to be some stinginess there with the director's branch. But I know it cuts against my argument for Florian Zeller. But yeah, somebody helped me out there. They said, well, and this was obviously their opinion, but they said it's definitely a more stylized film, which definitely that's my argument for why Emerald Fennell, I think, is getting in. I mean, unless you're on board, unless you're thinking, oh, they're just nominating her because she's a woman. But it's like, I don't know. Again, when I watched the movie, even the first time there, I was like, this is sticking out to me. I got to know who this director is and stuff. So I'm not crazy because she's been getting in a lot of places. And actually, after the Globes morning, I did put her in briefly for a minute there, but then I took her back out. But yeah, I have her in now. I hope it works because I don't have it in for editing. And again, that one I was close on. So I would actually, again, like we were talking about with like the Hell or High Water thing, that got 4 nominations. I have Promising Young Woman also getting 4, but that, just flip-flopping because that year was missing director. This one I have missing editing. But yep, yeah, look out for Aaron Sorkin. Definitely look out for somebody like Regina King who could, basically just get in on name recognition, first-time director, because just a few years ago, remember we had Jordan Peele and Greta Gerwig getting in for those. But in retrospect, Get Out was, arguably in 3rd place or even maybe 2nd place for Best Picture that year. And Lady Bird, at the point of nominations, was kind of looked at as the alternative as maybe like, again, a 2nd or 3rd place for Best Picture too. One Night in Miami at this point, it's looking like, just from counting up the number of nominations I have it getting, which I'm going to pull up that list now, I have it just getting into 4 categories. So, yeah, it's nowhere near where those other films were. Plus, again, I made this argument here a few weeks ago. It is an actor turned director, and again, it's, in recent years, it's less common for them to get in. Obviously, and Mel Gibson had been nominated and even won the category before, but so I wouldn't necessarily count him, but like Bradley Cooper, obviously Ben Affleck. So yeah, they really are getting more stingy on that here in recent years. But obviously, like I said, you go back to Kevin Costner and Robert Redford and stuff like that. Yeah, then it's a different era. Orson Welles, clear back in the day too. Otherwise, Darius Martyr for Sound of Metal is also one I would say, yeah, he's close. We mentioned Spike Lee for Defy Bloods, in case that one all of a sudden makes a huge comeback. Thomas Vinterberg, something. I'm gonna really be pissed off if I had put that one in right after BAFTA, and then I'm like, okay, let me take him out. That's too ridiculous. And then he gets in. I'm like, shit. I'll just be so pissed. Anyways. All right, then we talk about editing if Judas Black Messiah gets in. Well, you never know about Shaka King. Never know. All right, now we're going to go to Best Picture now. And here I'm only predicting 9. But I do have another film in the 10th slot just in case it gets in over one of the other ones here. So officially, I can say I got it wrong if it doesn't get in. So my 9 are Judas and the Black Messiah, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, Promising Young Woman, The Father, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. So News of the World, again, I think it is one that is very much in the hunt there. I think it's one that, I'm seeing its odds are dropping very rapidly. I think it was like 25-1 at the beginning of the week. Now it's clear down to 70-1 here on Gold Derby. So yeah, very rapidly people are dropping it now. But I think Defy Blood was also at like 25 or 30-1. Now it's 56-1. So it's actually more favorable than News of the World right now, which I don't know. You never know. But Sound of Metal, I know, has gone up. That was 25 or even 30 to 1. Now it's 15 to 1. So that one's on the rise. But still, yeah, and that one is a PGA nominee. I think that one, it's probably, that one or News of the World is the one that can skip over something like possibly The Father, possibly Judas and the Black Messiah. But again, that one I think has so much steam at the end here. That one I think feels a lot more safe than maybe some other ones. Somebody brought up maybe Ma Rainey's is vulnerable here. Possibly. I mean, it really, other than Critics' Choice, has not landed a Best Picture nomination anywhere this year. It missed out at the Globes, wasn't along the ride for Best Picture there, or Best Film at BAFTA. It is up for SAG, though, SAG Ensemble. That's kind of the one thing that's keeping me there. And then One Night in Miami, same case there. Not up at BAFTA or anything. But obviously, PGA. Both of these are up at PGA, though. Whereas you had The Father and News of the World missing there. So, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, otherwise, I think the rest of them are all a lot further away, like Soul, The Five Bloods, stuff like that. So, Mortanian. Somebody, I think the same person had mentioned, they think Mortanian's getting in, but I mean, just because it got in, like BAFTA has been the only place it's been up for Best Film. It's not up at DGA or PGA, not up at WGA, if I remember right. Actually, no, it'd be easier to do it this way. It wasn't WGA, was it? No, it was not. Okay. Unless this page is wrong, but whatever. I'm not going to go all around hop skipping for that one. All right. So, here's my official list for films with multiple nominations. Who's going to lead the nominees? I have it Mank at 13, which is one shy of that record of La La Land. It's tied. La La Land, Titanic, and All About Eve all have 14 nominations. So Mank is really close there with 13. Shape of Water had, was it 13 or was it? I'm going to look that one up here because, I mean, we haven't in recent years seen as many films get that many nominations. Really quick for most nominations here in the past few years. Joker had 11 last year. The Favorite and Roma tied with 10 in 2018. Shape of Water got 13. We mentioned La La Land had 14. Revenant led with 12 in 2015. Birdman and Grand Budapest Hotel both had 9 in 2014. That was a much more spread out year there. American Hustle and Gravity tied with 10 in 2013. Lincoln had 12 in 2012. So that one, I thought that one had 13. No, that one just had 12. Hugo had 11. King's Speech had 12. And just a couple more here. Avatar and Hurt Locker both had 9. And Curious Case of Benjamin Button, another David Fincher one, that one had 13. So possibly, that's probably the most apt comparison there. It's kind of funny I landed on that one being the last number we listed there. But still, yep. And Amanda Seyfried is the one that gets it to 13. I had her out for a while, but put her back in, so I had it at 12 for the longest time. But I think it's Mank here. I think that's my car, is it? No, I hope not. Okay, then we have, for the one that's getting the second most nominations, I have Minari at 9. Again, I don't write down, I didn't have a chance to write down who's, which one's getting what, so it's all those. I have Nomadland and Ma Rainey's both getting 7. Then I have The Father and Trial of the Chicago 7 both getting 5. And then News of the World, if it gets in for picture, would also have 5. But again, I have it in 10th place, so I'm not technically predicting it, but it's in my 10 on Gold Derby, so it counts as right if it does get in. So I guess I cheat with that one a little bit. Then I have several films getting 4. Technically, I have News of the World getting 4, but again, possibly getting 5. One Night in Miami, Promising Young Woman, Judas and the Black Messiah, and Sound of Metal I have all getting 4. Then a couple films getting 3. That's 3 actually. Midnight Sky, not Hillbilly Elegy. Midnight Sky, Mulan, and Soul. I have all getting 3, and the rest I have all getting 2. And that would be United States versus Billie Holiday, Hillbilly Elegy, Tenet, Welcome to Chechnya, and Collective. So I think we did a run on this. It was like 16 or 17 last year. I have it at 19 this year, but I'm not going to go through and count those up again like we were, because that kind of takes a while there. But maybe it was only like 14 films had multiple nominations last year or something like that. But anyways, like I said, unfortunately this year I will not be able to do live reactions. So as soon as I can get home that day, I'll be, looking at it there. What now? I should say though, because I looked at what time they're announcing and stuff. I actually might just be able to have time to stick around that morning and watch them, but I won't. I would have like 0 minutes to discuss it. So there's no point in doing live reactions if I can't, put my thoughts together on it. I can't just, sit here and be like, oh, that got in, oh, that missed, oh, bye, and then leave. It's like, yeah, that's not really all that fun. So unfortunately, yeah, that one I think would just look too sloppy, so we're not going to do that. So, yeah, plus where I'm at, we're supposed to have like some snow that morning, and I have to drive to work, and it's like, yeah, I'm not really, not saying I'm not good at driving through snow, because I live in the Midwest, so I've had to drive through some pretty shitty stuff. But it's like, if I know it's going to be snowing or whatever, I always leave early, so it's like, yeah, I might just leave while they're announcing too, so. So unfortunately, yeah, we're not going to have that. So first thing Monday afternoon when I can get off work and stuff, then I will come back and we'll discuss the nominations. I'm going to leave up, at least on my laptop here, my Microsoft Word document here, which has everything in, so I'll know which ones I got right and which ones I got wrong. And yeah, that should do it for now, guys. So I'll be back Monday. We'll discuss what's in, what's out. What surprised us, what shocked us, what we got right, what we're glad we got right, the long shots that we called, and all that fun stuff. Yeah, which, in the last few years, it's like, there's a couple nominations morning I've been really excited about. Like JoJo last year for editing. I remember that one was kind of a long shot, but I got it. I think here. Oh, shit, I can't remember here. Like I said, the director race has been really spotty for me the past few years. Because there's always ones where it's like, I think I'm going to get it right, but it's like, no, it doesn't. And it's like, usually it's lining up the DGA 5, but we're skipping that trend this year for damn sure. Otherwise, I think that's going to do it. So before I stay on too long and embarrass myself and all that, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye, and we'll see you Monday. Good luck to everybody predicting. Hopefully it goes all right for you, even if we disagree on everything under the sun. Best of luck to you, and we'll see you on the other side.